Tonight, a Perth man dies alone in isolation, losing his battle with coronavirus, becoming Australia's first death from the disease.
Perth rocks as bands roll down our own highway to hell in an epic tribute to AC/DC.
Vicious trolls target swimmer Mac Horton after his rival slapped with an 8-year ban.
Historic talks between the US and the Taliban signal an end to our nation's longest conflict is in sight.
And dingo terror, a young woman attacked, her dog mauled to death.
Live from our Perth headquarters, this is 7 News with Tim McMillan and Angela Tsun.
Good evening, welcome to 7 News. The first Australian victim of the deadly coronavirus has died here in Perth as health officials down under work to contain any possible spread in the community. Doctors warn time is running out and more needs to be done before the flu season strikes.
He was well enough to walk off the plane 9 days ago, but succumbed this morning to the virus that has now spread to 62 countries and infected more than 85,000 people worldwide. It was a lonely death, the man's wife forced to say goodbye from behind a viewing glass. But she said he passed away peacefully, knowing that his family loved him.
The public shouldn't be panicking at this stage. All of the cases are being managed very well.
The source of WA's only outbreak was the Diamond Princess cruise ship, where it's now confirmed 621 people caught the coronavirus. The 78-year-old was evacuated from Japan on February 20, but tested positive for the virus on the Mercy flight to Darwin. He was flown home to Perth with his wife. She tested positive a week later. Within the 2 to 10-day incubation period, authorities are depending on to contain it. She remains here, forced to grieve in isolation. Her only contact is with medical staff, and it's those doctors and nurses on the front line of this global emergency authorities are most worried about. Especially GPs running low of face masks who are telling potential patients to stay away and call ahead.
They're already at breaking point. We need to be thinking about tripling the ED capacity.
The AMA today compared the coronavirus to the Spanish flu that killed up to 50 million people.
This is a reality check for every government on the planet. Wake up, get ready.
There's been no human-to-human transmission in Australia, but authorities now concede there will be. It's just a matter of when and how bad.
The modelling indicates that by late April or May, there may be greater spread here in Western Australia. The peak would then hit us in potentially August.
In the middle of the flu season, a double threat that has Perth hospitals bracing. A coronavirus vaccine won't be ready until next year, but authorities are urging everyone to get the flu vaccine from next month, fearing the rapid spread of both could result in a higher death rate. The state's Security and Emergency Management Committee will meet on Wednesday to put mass isolation measures on standby. In the meantime, the official advice is not to panic. Go about your usual business, but wash your hands. 594 other West Australians have been tested for coronavirus or negative, while the wife of the 78-year-old gentleman who passed away is tonight stable, being closely monitored here. She is yet to enter the second week after infection doctors say is proving most dangerous. The vulnerable and chronically ill, the chronically ill and elderly, are the most vulnerable. Tim?
Jessica Page, thank you. To breaking news now, and there's commuter chaos in the city. Brittany Hoskins is there. Brittany, what do we know?
Tim, it's understood a person has been hit by a train at around 4:45 this afternoon. It's believed a man was in a mobility scooter when it rolled off the platform. He has been taken to hospital. The station was briefly closed, causing commuter chaos, but the lines have since reopened. Emergency services left the station around 15 minutes ago. We will bring you more information as it comes to hand. Ange?
Brittany Hoskins, thank you. It's very loud in the suburbs tonight, with an estimated 100,000 people right now lining one of Perth's major highways to pay tribute to rock royalty. A convoy of trucks carrying bands are travelling along the Canning Highway right now to honour AC/DC and late Freo frontman Bon Scott. And these are live pictures of the spectacle from the 7 News helicopter. This event is attempting to create the world's longest stage.
We have reporters across the 10-kilometre stretch of road ready to bring you special coverage of this historic music celebration. First to Joey Catanzaro in Fremantle. And Joey, what's the connection with this highway and rock legends AC/DC?
Tim, the Canning Highway has been closed and reopened as the Highway to Hell. That's the nickname AC/DC frontman Bon Scott gave this stretch of road when he was a Fremantle local and he used to rock out at the Raffles Hotel. It inspired a song of the same name in 1979, and it's inspired something pretty cool here today. For those about to rock, Hell's bell hung and rung. The fans back in black, and in the name of rock, they roll down the Highway to Hell. It's been 40 years since AC/DC singer Bon Scott was interred at Fremantle Cemetery, but the hometown heroes fans haven't forgotten the boy from Fremantle who used to call the Canning Highway the Highway to Hell, back when the Raffles was a regular rendezvous for all things rock and roll. 8 bands playing their take on Akka Daka on the back of 8 flatbed trucks. Not fast machines, but their motors are clean. It's a tribute to this iconic rock and roll ride down Swanston Street in Melbourne, and to the band fronted by a rogue rocker who once called a boarding house on Canning Highway home. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. 4 decades after Bon Scott's death, this is a tribute for rock and roll royalty, and the feeling here is dynamite. There was plenty sporting the hair, but some wear their mullets on the inside.
I think we might going to get his book of records for cabinet ministers in AC/DC shirts actually here today, and it feels good actually. Feels good.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I am from Rockingham. This feels real. It feels natural.
The most fit cabinet for a long time. Solos split the air as an estimated 100,000 people came ready to rock. But not everyone could be here. Spearwood woman Emma Taylor lost her dad Wally earlier this year. He was 70 and an AC/DC mega fan.
He actually knew Bon Scott quite well before Bon Scott became famous. He used to drink with him in Fremantle. So, yeah, they were, 2 peas in a pod.
Wally had Highway to Hell played at his funeral. It would have been his dream to be part of today's tribute. And he was, his ashes placed in the cab of the final truck. Backstage, a final ride for a loyal roadie.
I think he would just be without words, really. So, yeah, this means so much to our family.
This rock and roll road train is believed to be record-breaking, the longest stage in the world.
Household names like Cold Chisel and Rose Tattoo, Midnight Oil, In Excess, they all sort of followed in the wake of AC/DC.
Highway to Hell was the band's 6th studio album, released in 1979.
They pretty much invented pub rock, the sound of Australia, and they had to play loud to be heard over the sound of drinkers.
So loud, you can still hear it today. The Rock in Fremantle's Roll. The last truck with the last band is now on its way. This AC/DC extravaganza will rock on late into the night. There are road closures between Applecross and Fremantle, but for those a bit thunderstruck by that news, the roads will gradually reopen between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. Extra trains and buses have been put on, but commuters are being warned to expect delays. Ange.
Thanks, Joey. And there was a record attempt for the most people playing air guitar at the same time. Amber, did it happen?
Hello, and that's right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little while longer before we get those results. They're still doing the final tally, but that number we have to reach is 2,377 people doing the air guitar all at once. And I tell you what, these AC/DC megastars did a fantastic job. They became rock stars in their own right. Take a listen. And I'm joined by some fans, some little fans right now. What do you reckon, guys? Are we going to smash that record? Yeah! Good work. So I'll have an update on that very shortly. And maybe not so much these guys, but for older fans, it's going to be a big night. That last truck is going to cross the line at 8:30, and then that's when the after parties start. I'm told Fremantle is the place to be, with events at the Newport Hotel, Mojo's and Metropolis Fremantle. And I don't think these guys are going to slow down anytime soon.
Your long night. Amber, thank you. A police support officer in the city has been left with horrific facial injuries after she was attacked. Live to crime reporter Monique Dirks. Mon, what happened?
Tim, good evening. Well, she was bitten on the face yesterday afternoon by a man inside a lock-up facility in Perth. The woman is a police auxiliary officer and she was processing the man who'd been arrested when, out of the blue, police say he charged at her and grabbed at her throat. It's alleged he then grabbed the hair on both sides of her head, bit her face and then bit through one of her ears. She was left terrified and with very serious injuries. The police union have described this attack as despicable and say their officers are not punching bags. The man has been charged with assaulting a public officer. Ange.
Mon, thank you. Olympic champion Mac Horton is receiving death threats from supporters of banned drug cheat Tsun Yang. Trolls are ruthlessly targeting Horton, who has support from fellow athlete Andrew Bogut, who's been a target before.
With his huge frame and bold personality, Andrew Bogut can be a big target. He now finds himself alongside Mac Horton in the sights of the supporters of drug cheat Tsun Yang.
It was good news for me yesterday. I had a little smile about it. Christmas came early, so I had a little bit of fun with it on Twitter, and now the death threats and all that kind of stuff started again.
The tirade was sparked by the Boomers and Sydney Kings centre having his say on Twitter over the 8-year ban handed to Tsun Yang. He's keeping a cool head.
It's nothing against China or Tsun Yang, but I made a flippant comment about it 6 months ago, a sarcastic joke about it, and got death threats for it while I was in China.
Mac Horton has been trolled online since news of Tsun Yang's ban. He's also received death threats. Trolls have targeted his mother, and Horton has been labelled a dog who will never be a champion. The name game still lingers for Caulfield Grammar's Aquatic Centre. Andrew Bogut has thrown his support behind the push for the school to honour Mac Horton.
I believe it should be renamed after him, and they got to deal with the consequences of losing a bit of money from China. Unlucky. I think it's the right thing to do.
The three-time Olympian won't be deterred from his campaign for Tokyo. He believes the biggest victims of Tsun Yang are the people he swam against and cost greater honours.
I'm strongly against drugs in sport, so I think it's the right result.
Cameron Bowe, 7 News.
A woman in her 50s remains in a serious but stable condition at Royal Perth Hospital after being struck by a boat propeller at the Mandurah foreshore yesterday. It's understood the woman was struck in the face, arm and leg by a propeller from an inflatable rubber dinghy. The quick-thinking actions from another boat brought the incident under control. It's still unclear what caused the accident.
It's our nation's longest-lasting conflict that's claimed more than 40 Australian lives. But tonight, there are hopes it could be the beginning of the end for the war in Afghanistan. An agreement between the United States and the Taliban means all remaining Allied troops could be home by mid-next year.
Bitter enemies since September 11, 2 decades later, the US and the Taliban have done a deal. It follows a year of mostly secret talks as America looked for a way out of its longest war, invading Afghanistan with Australian support after the 2001 terrorist attacks to overthrow the Taliban regime, which had given sanctuary to Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda.
Had tremendous success in Afghanistan in the killing of terrorists, but it's time, after all these years, to go and to bring our people back home.
The US will pull out around 5,000 troops.
Today, okay? Today, they'll start immediately.
In exchange for the Taliban stopping Al-Qaeda, ISIS or any terror group using the country as a launchpad for attacks. And working to share power with the Afghan government. If the Taliban play ball, the remaining 8,000 American and NATO troops will go in just over a year. Australia still has around 200 personnel there as part of NATO's mission.
It's been an incredibly important effort, and if there are troop withdrawals, then we'll work that out with the United States.
After a conflict that's cost tens of thousands of lives and $2 trillion, critics warn it is a path to peace, but with plenty of obstacles.
If bad things happen, we'll go back. I let the people know we'll go back, and we'll go back so fast.
In the United States, Paul Kadak, 7 News.
China, Iran and Russia have all been named as countries with spies working in Australia. Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton has addressed the threat as the federal government looks to overhaul powers for our security agencies to detain and question foreign agents.
It sounds like a Cold War relic.
First details of a Soviet spy ring in Australia. Vladimir Petrov.
Spies in Canberra. In fact, the Director General of Intelligence says there are more now than back then, and MPs have no doubt which foreign power he's referring to.
China.
So you've been forthright.
China. It's China.
Well, they're not just from China, but they're from Iran, from Russia. Are they
mostly from China?
And from elsewhere.
Iran and Russia added to the espionage list as the Morrison government considers extending some anti-terror laws so intelligence agencies can also detain and question suspected spies.
If ASIO suggests that there is a case to be made, we'd be happy to look at that.
Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee has already suggested changes. One power to hold terror suspects for up to a week could be done away with as the focus of the laws shifts to take in spies. The opposition appears to be on board.
We will always seek to work first and foremost in a bipartisan manner.
As MPs head for another sitting week, Prime Minister Morrison will address a national summit on plastics pollution. 7 News understands he'll declare recycling as a consideration in Commonwealth purchases. Also announce incentive funding for industry to set up recycling. Tim Lester, 7 News.
Twice married and a father of at least 5 children, Boris Johnson isn't letting being Prime Minister stop him from starting another family. His girlfriend, Carrie Symonds, has announced they're engaged and expecting a baby. But the timing of the happy news is raising some eyebrows.
Arriving at number 10 after Britain's December election, Carrie Symonds was Boris Johnson's girlfriend. An unprecedented prime ministerial arrangement, but soon she'll be his wife and a mother too. The announcement was made on the 31-year-old's Instagram page, releasing this photo saying they have a baby hatching early in the British summer, feeling incredibly blessed. Boris Johnson's been married twice before. His divorce from barrister Marina Wheeler was settled just 11 days ago. But there's been alleged affairs too, prompting questions like this during the election campaign.
How many children do you have?
Look, I love my children very much, but they are not standing at this election.
Notoriously protective of his private life, Mr Johnson will, it seems, become a father again. There have been babies in Downing Street before. Tony Blair and David Cameron welcomed children while living there. But Boris Johnson will become the first British leader to be married in office in 250 years. Carrie Symonds, a former party spin doctor, 24 years his junior. The engagement happened late last year and was announced on a day of bad headlines for the Tory government. A senior public servant quit, accusing the Home Secretary of bullying.
There are eyebrows being raised at the timing of this announcement, but let's not forget this is a woman having her first baby, and who would begrudge her that joy?
Now, Sunday's front pages have made way for news of wedding bells for Boris and his bride. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have given up their Sunday to collect rubbish from beaches, parks and roadsides, part of the 30th annual Clean Up Australia event. And they had a helping hand from some of our Olympic hopefuls.
They'd normally be at water polo training ahead of the Olympic Games, but these players have gloved up to pick up trash in their local community.
If you really dig your fingers in and have a look, there's little bits of rubbish that you walk past every day and don't notice.
Joining 700,000 volunteers to clean up Australia.
We live in such a beautiful country, and to give something back, even though it's a 1 hour or 2 hours out of your day.
A collective 16,500 tonnes of rubbish is estimated to have been binned today. The majority of it coming out of our waterways.
Pizza boxes, coffee, plastic everywhere. Way too much rubbish in our world, and we just need to clean it up.
That was the passion of the late Ian Kiernan, who started this National Day 30 years ago.
Dad would be really proud today that so many Australians are still getting out there.
But it's a 365-day waste challenge, with estimates there'll be more plastic in the water than fish by 2050.
And Australians are frustrated about the amount of waste and plastics that we are creating.
We just can't let this keep going. We are intervening at every single level to take plastic out of our environment.
Days like this are just a start. Jessica Ridley, 7 News.
You're watching 7 News. A ferocious storm is battering Europe. That's next. Plus, fear and panic as thousands of migrants are left in limbo.
Joe Biden's a step closer to taking on Trump in the upcoming US elections.
So the Wildcats went snake taming in Cairns. They got beaten though, plus the Dockers look to stay on top of the ladder to start the AFLW season. And a new wave of riots rocks Hong Kong. That's next.
You're about to take on the biggest challenge ever.
The stakes are sky high.
You'll be renovating the penthouse of this iconic building.
Oh, is that a pool?
It is huge.
Buildings don't intimidate us. We intimidate them.
The biggest renovations that TV has ever seen.
They wanted luxury and glamour. You got luxury and glamour.
The rules have changed. Welcome to High Stakes. Only on 7.
With over 31,000 flat batteries a year and over 16,000 lockouts, we help a lot of members get moving. Plus, members save 10% on batteries. That's the power of membership. RAC Roadside Assistance. For the better.
Live brighter every day with up to 50% off everything at Beacon. You heard right. Get up to 50% off lights, fans, globes, everything in-store and online. Shop now and save up to 50% off at Beacon.
The new look Ranger FX4 with unique grille, 18-inch black alloys and black sports bar. Catch the special edition Ranger FX4 at your Ford dealer now.
Feel masterful. Sultana brand. Full-on days start with full-on fibre.
Every content living home is a work of art. With luxurious 4x2 homes starting from just $190,000, isn't it time to get your masterpiece started? Call Content Living today.
I try to deal with the pain.
Lisinofen starts to be absorbed in just 5 minutes. Lisinofen provides up to 8 hours pain relief in a single tablet. Say no to pain. Lisinofen.
Summertime just got easier for Clean Heat customers. Search Clean Heat treats to help your summer flow.
Subaru Forester with a second set of eyes. Helping you watch the road with EyeSight driver assist technology. Now available in hybrid. The next generation of Subaru.
7 News, back in 30 seconds.
How can our team be engaged in treating like this?
It is crumbling before your very eyes.
Who's going to break first? It's going to be us or them?
I'd defy anybody to think who was the best 6 half. You're going to have to drop your captain.
When your back's to the wall, you'll fight.
That's the way we're going to win our fans back.
Woodvale subway customers and staff were trapped inside the store this morning after a car crashed through the front door. An elderly woman accidentally hit the accelerator, causing the vehicle to block the entrance for around 30 minutes just before 11:30. No one was hurt.
There's a migrant crisis unfolding tonight right on Europe's doorstep. Thousands of people are trying to enter Greece, told by Turkey's president they could leave, but were met by force.
Panic as migrants attempt to bust through barbed wire border fences. They succeed, but are met by Greek border guards holding firm using tear gas. Now, hundreds are in no man's land, many of them Syrians and Afghans, right on Europe's doorstep.
The border is open, but it's one-sided. It's only the Turkish border is open. The other side is closed.
They're pawns in a geopolitical game. The Turkish government bussed them to the border from Istanbul, a deliberate effort by President Erdogan to pressure Europe into helping his nation in Syria, where 33 Turkish soldiers died in an attack this week. Turkey has hosted millions of migrants and refugees for years. Now it's keen to show Turkey's problems can be Europe's too. Turkey is pushing them and using them, this Greek government minister says. Greece has borders, Europe has borders, and we will guard them. But many are slipping through. More boats are arriving on the Greek islands. Some are crossing rivers. Turkey is sending a signal it can cause a repeat of the 2015 migrant crisis here if it wants to. In London, Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.
Joe Biden achieved a much-needed boost for his struggling campaign in South Carolina today. The former Vice President still has ground to cover, but the win, buoyed by support from African-American voters, keeps him in the race.
And we will win the presidency. We will win the presidency. And we'll defeat Donald Trump.
But Bernie Sanders is still sitting atop the ladder to take on President Trump, pulling into the lead after strong showings in the first 3 contests.
Chaos has once again erupted on the streets of Hong Kong following a period of relative calm. Armed police fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of black-clad protesters, even tackling some to the ground. Coronavirus fears have been keeping people indoors, but this latest wave of riots has plunged the city into turmoil once again.
And Ryan's here now to chat sport, and not a good day for the Wildcats, Ryan.
And Tim, they went to North Queensland and got bitten by snakes. Cairns produced a brilliant performance to save their season. The Taipans held Bryce Cotton scoreless in the opening half. The 11-point win forced a deciding Game 3.
Oh, the finish is the flash of Kev Oliver. 22 points, 19 rebounds, and the nail in the coffin.
The elimination final will be held on Thursday night at RAC Arena. New Dockers coach Justin Longmuir was very happy with his side after yesterday's pre-season win over Carlton. They'll face West Coast in a pre-season derby on Saturday. Coming up in sport, we'll reveal the 3 stars set to return for Freo. And David beats Goliath, how Watford took down Liverpool, ending a 422-day run. That's all coming up at 6:45. Tim and Ange.
Thanks very much, Ryan. See you then. You're watching 7 News. Coming up, we return to Perth's very own highway to hell.
And Oprah's embarrassing tumble while talking about balance.
Safety warning for parents over a popular phone app.
And good news for women struggling to start a family. That's next.
Checking your food's perfect from the inside out. High-tech testing for safety and flavour. The Consumer Investigation. 7 News, Monday.
When you meet someone for the first time, you either like them or you don't.
We just want a fresh start.
You and your family can stay with me as long as you need to.
Would you invite a stranger into your home?
We know nothing about these people and they're living under our roof.
He saved my life.
You stay away from this house.
You don't know anything about us.
What are they really hiding from? This week, it's all about to explode.
John knows everything.
Piratas are not the lovely family you had them pegged to be.
John, please don't push me on this.
Either they leave or I do.
Home and Away, this week at 7 on 7.
It's ABC Blinds' $4 million clearance with aluminium Venetians from $99, 40% off rollers, 30% off verticals and sheer curtains, plus shop our new Titan outdoor blinds.
13, 15, ABC.
What's he gonna forget? Message Tim. Did you get chicken salt? I'm still feeling it.
Nothing spoils that Toyota value feeling. Get Corolla Hatch Ascent Sport Petrol from $96 per week with Toyota Access. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Everyone loves a long weekend sale with flooring from $9.90 a square metre. Super savings are back. With free installation and free underlay, you can count on Parry's to have you covered. parryscarpets.com.au.
A few days ago, John had muscle pain. Then he discovered Voltaren ML Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
I don't know how I'd have coped with today if Dave hadn't pre-arranged everything with Marina Perslow Funerals. Yes, putting us first was always his way.
Planning and prepaying your funeral with Marina Perslow eases the burden on your family at a difficult time.
Did you hear about Mikey? Had a bad accident.
Oh, no, it's no good. Isn't his wife expecting?
Yeah. But it looks like his insurance with Cbus hasn't covered.
Cbus offers super insurance options for our industry.
We return now to Perth's own Highway to Hell, where an expected 100,000 people have turned out to pay tribute to AC/DC. Amber Johnston is there. Amber, there was a world record attempt.
Hello, good evening, and that's right. We're still waiting patiently for those results from this crowd's attempt at the most amount of people playing the air guitar at once. The number we want to beat is toot 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 toot.
I think the number she's looking for is 2,377. We'll find out a little later if we reached it. There's more torment for the loved ones of William Tyrrell tonight, with his foster father allegedly subjected to harassing phone calls from a stranger. A Dubbo woman is accused of ringing the man, who can't be identified, 14 times over 8 hours, claiming he was involved in William's disappearance. A police investigation has ruled out any involvement by the foster or biological families. The woman will face court in May.
An Exmouth woman has been left bloodied and traumatised after her dog was killed by wild dingoes. The 22-year-old says she's too scared to leave her home, and tonight she's calling for something to be done.
Bloodied and traumatised after a routine beach walk takes a terrifying turn. Asha Hagel and her dog Mickey set upon by wild dingoes.
He turned back and there was 3 dingoes on top of him. And they were basically just rolling him around like a rag doll.
Asha rushed to protect her pooch.
And when they saw us charging them, they were not afraid. They were not going anywhere, and we were both getting ready to have to fight them off ourselves.
She was bitten by the wild animals, but her biggest concern was Mickey.
We got into the car and we thought, you know, he didn't have too many puncture wounds and he was going to be okay. But unfortunately this morning we got news from the vet that he didn't make it.
Asha's lip needed stitches. Today she's still shaken and scared and calling for action.
He was our baby, and I've been having panic attacks all morning, all night. Every time I hear a sound outside our house, I just think it's a pack and they're going to come, and I don't feel safe here anymore.
The Shire of Exmouth says it's increased patrols of beaches from early this morning and will continue patrolling tomorrow.
What needs to be happened, and I know it's horrible, unfortunately they do need to be shot. There's no other way.
Asha wants to warn other pet owners of the danger of dingoes.
I won't get another dog because I don't feel safe having it in this town.
Brittany Hoskins, 7 News.
Oprah has had an unfortunate misstep, taking a tumble while talking at a wellness conference about balance.
And balance doesn't mean all things are equal or at peace at all times.
True to form, the TV queen picked herself up and kicked off her high heels to wild applause, later joking.
It's nice to be talking about balance and fall.
A powerful weather system is battering the UK with warnings of heavy rain and strong winds. This video shows a blizzard of sea foam rolling onto a beach as Storm Jorge hit the west coast of Ireland.
Experts are warning parents popular phone app TikTok isn't as harmless as it appears. There are fears children as young as kindergarten age are using the app, and it's offering a gateway for predators to communicate with kids as well as promoting bullying behaviour. TikTok has nearly 3 million monthly users in Australia.
Being told you may not be able to have children can be devastating news. Now, Australian researchers believe many women are being diagnosed with a common disorder linked to infertility when they may actually be perfectly healthy.
When Nicole Liu was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, it came with another dire prediction.
I was told by this GP that I would be potentially infertile. Getting told that I couldn't have kids was a real shock to everything I believed in.
Then a gynaecologist said she'd been wrongly diagnosed.
I'm definitely very relieved off the back of that.
PCOS affects 1 in 6 Australian women. Common symptoms include cysts in the ovaries, skipped or irregular periods and high levels of male hormone. New research from the University of Sydney finds many are being misdiagnosed, and those who do have it may not struggle to fall pregnant.
It can be extremely distressing to hear that you might have reduced fertility and kind of cause long-lasting anxiety.
This study provides new hope for many women who want to start a family, that it may not actually be out of reach. The first step is getting the right advice.
Even if it might take a little bit longer, or they might need a little bit of medical assistance to help them ovulate when they're ready to have a baby, in the end most women will end up with a desired family size.
Now Nicole's helping others with her website, Kin.
Give women better information to help them take control about their fertility and reproductive health.
Jessica Ridley, 7 News.
Let's go back to Perth's Highway to Hell event, where an expected 100,000 people have turned out to pay tribute to AC/DC. Amber Johnson is there. Amber, there was a world record attempt.
Hello, good evening, and that's right. We're still waiting patiently for those results. Hopefully they won't be too far away, but these guys did a fantastic job. They gave it a good go. The most amount of people playing the air guitar at once. The number we want to beat is 2,377, so hopefully we'll have those results very shortly. But I tell you what, these guys are having an absolute ball here today. So much so, the Tourism Minister has publicly said he'd consider making this an annual event. So I'm joined by with some little AC/DC fans now. What do you think, guys? Would you like to see this event again? Yeah! Good work. And maybe not these guys, but their mum and dad might have a big night ahead of them. That last truck is going to cross the finish line at 8:30. Then I'm told there's going to be a heap of after parties, and Fremantle is the place to be. And then the Canning Highway will reopen in stages from 9 to 11 p.m. And as mentioned, there will be extra buses and trains, but the advice is to expect delays.
Amber, thank you. Still to come on 7 News. Once-in-a-lifetime rock memorabilia up for grabs, raising money for bushfire relief.
Plus, good news for melanoma sufferers. The breakthrough treatment now within reach.
I want to be known as a good doctor, not a good autistic doctor.
The world's favourite doctor must overcome the most human of distractions.
Stop it.
Or it could ruin him.
Cardiac, hypotensive.
you screw up?
New The Good Doctor, tonight after MKR on 7.
Now, pink with attitude. New Superstay Matte Ink Pink Edition from Maybelline, New York. Liquid matte formula. New powerful pinks. Up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Matte Ink Pink Edition. Only from Maybelline, New York.
You're gonna do great, Dad.
I am a fireman.
I'm a nurse.
I'm a pilot.
I'm a project manager. I manage projects. I drive a lot. When I build things, push things, I hit things, and then I carry stuff.
What do you do again?
I drive a Hilux.
Hilux Rugged X. Drive away from $62,990 and 2.9% finance for business applicants. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Red Dot's massive stock take clearance sale is now on with up to 50% off selected products. Plus these great products for just $19.99. Hurry, our stock won't last long. Get to your nearest Red Dot store today.
WA's favourite price choppers.
Enjoy genuine savings on the latest European tile trends with Tile Boutique's Italy on Sale event. Only while stocks last.
I love how matte surfaces in nature hold light, how they diffuse the light. Like Colorbond Steel Matte, they're strong, enduring, yet subtle in their beauty.
Watch me play. Watch me be anything I want to be. Make the rule. Be a boss.
Be the captain of the world.
Just watch me.
Aren't diamonds for, like, milestone occasions? Oh, why wait for one of those? Hint, hint, babe.
Summer in Australia. Heat and sweat aggravate dandruff and itch. I recommend Head & Shoulders. More effective than our regular shampoo, it reduces more dandruff in just one wash and protects your scalp. I recommend Head & Shoulders.
If you want big savings, it's not too late to get to the Ford Plate clearance. For great deals like a 2019 Plate Ranger XLT Auto from just $53,990 drive away. But hurry, once they're gone, they're gone.
Now Fuel Watch, Perth's petrol prices. Brought to you by Fuel Watch and 7 News.
Memorabilia from 7's Firefight Australia concert is up for sale on eBay. Superstar artists signed 2 guitars played during the show, which raised more than $10 million for bushfire relief. Proceeds from the auction will go to the RSPCA Wildlife Fund. The concert is being broadcast in the US on the Fox network as we go to air tonight.
The drug that helped save the life of footy star Jared Roughhead has just become far more accessible for melanoma patients. It's now listed on the PBS, slashing the cost of the $100,000 treatment to as little as $6.
An Australian accountant has stunned doctors by coming back to life after his heart stopped for 90 minutes. Specialists say he was as good as dead, but now he's back at work with a second lease on life.
Today, Alistair Blake is the picture of health. This time last year, he was seconds from death, his wife watching helplessly as paramedics worked to save him.
The police took me out to the other room to say, look, they've worked a really long time and there's nothing.
Melinda and Alistair were staying at their beach house when she woke to what she thought was her husband snoring. She soon realised he was having a cardiac arrest.
Flung him onto the floor, he landed on his tummy, so I had to roll him over and you know, she said start CPR.
Melinda performed CPR before paramedics arrived. Alistair was medically dead for 90 minutes before his heart began to beat again.
90 minutes downtime, we'd expect to see some permanent disabilities.
The accountant spent 4 days in intensive care. When he woke, doctors were stunned to see no signs of any physical or mental damage. They fitted him with a pacemaker and he was discharged from hospital 3 weeks later. Mr. Blake's story is so remarkably rare, his doctors have given him the nickname Lazarus.
Well, I think it's quite appropriate.
the nickname, so yes, even though I had to look it up after it was first mentioned to me.
Now the 59-year-old granddad is back doing what he does best, living life to the fullest.
Each day's a bonus and you just look at it and it's like, but the other side of that, try and live life as normal as possible.
Georgia Comensoli, 7 News.
It can take many trips to build up a decent stash of frequent flyer points, but many people don't realise if you don't use them, you lose them. Find out if your loyalty points are under threat soon on 7 News.
But first, Ryan's back with more sport. Ryan, footy fans get an early treat this week.
They do, Ange and Tim. A pre-season derby in Joondalup on Saturday. And it's the last chance for players to earn a spot for round one. Plus, the Stars will be back for both teams. Plus, comeback king Jack Higgins returns to footy just 8 months after emergency brain surgery. And we'll show you one of the greatest cricket catches you'll ever see.
Has tried a dish like this before.
It is a vision of beauty.
This is sudden death elimination. What is the dish that will save one team?
It's the best dish I've had in the competition.
And eliminate the other.
As a mentor, I'm very, very proud of you.
Which team will cook the greatest dish of all?
Wow, it is a showstopper of a dish.
The My Kitchen Rules elimination, coming up next on 7.
3, 2, 1. Take off. Take charge. Take it all. And then some. Show off. Nice rocket. Show the way. And then some. Be sure. Be adventurous. Just be that person. And then some. The X-Range.
Comfy is the new cool with soft touch denim for just $20. That's wow. That's best and less.
When I'm big, I might get neurodegenerative diseases like multiply sclerosis. Kids like me can have molluscular dystrophy.
We can't make neurological conditions easier to say, but we can make them easier to live with. And our Parent Institute researchers are doing it already.
Introducing Voltaren Osteo Gel 12 Hour. With just 2 applications a day, it gives you joint pain relief for the whole day and all night. Try Voltaren, Australia's #1 pain relief gel.
All Extras cover is the same.
Well, HBF just redesigned theirs to be even better value.
Bet they're still expensive.
Well, actually, you'd be surprised. HBF. Get well.
Australia, with the recent extreme weather, some Aussie farmers are finding it tough to produce exactly the same fruit and veg they're famous for. So while some fruit and veg might look a little different, Coles are still buying it, and our customers are still buying it.
Good for the community, good for everybody.
And it tastes great. Beautiful. And right now, Aussie farmers need all the support they can get. Join us. Support Aussie farmers. Buy Aussie fruit and veg first.
Create the ultimate backyard at the Pool Spa and Outdoor Living Expo. You'll find everything you need to turn your dream backyard into a reality. Pools, spas, landscaping, and all the best ideas in outdoor living. Claremont Showgrounds, March 7 and 8. Thanks to major sponsor, Freedom Pools.
The Dockers will bring back 3 of their best for Saturday's first derby of the season at Joondalup. Yesterday, Fremantle thumped Carlton by 47 points in Mandurah and will welcome back Nat Fyfe, Michael Walters and Stephen Hill to take on the Eagles.
After a tumultuous off-season, this was the performance the Dockers had to have. Rory Lobb, the best player on the ground with 13 marks and 23 touches. And despite playing without 8 of their best 22, Freo crushed the undermanned Blues.
Yeah, I think we ticked a lot of boxes today. Like I said to the players after the game, it was about taking a step forward for round 1, and that's all it was.
2 recruits were outstanding, former Pie James Aish and ex-Saint Blake Acres.
I thought they were solid, really solid. Akers on the wing just executed his role all day. And Aish, we flipped him around a bit, and he's. I hate to do it to him, but he's going to have to be one of those guys that plays multiple roles for us, because he's added the midfield role to his game over the pre-season, and I thought he was really safe for us when he had to go back. So they had a good start to their careers at Freo.
Whilst it was a good first hit out, the Eagles will be a much tougher test, and misses like this could be fatal.
And Taberner misses. That is bizarre how often that happens.
Silvani one end, easy miss. Taberner the other end.
He can laugh about it now, but
oh no.
Wouldn't want to do that round one against Essendon at Marvel Stadium.
Lockie Schultz booted 4 goals and made Cade Simpson earn this mark. And we could see some fines handed out by the match review officer for the ensuing melee.
That's spirited. Yep. There's a bit in this.
The Eagles went down to Essendon on Thursday and will welcome back Elliot Yeo, Andrew Gaff and Brad Shepherd. Adrian Barrich, 7 News.
The Dockers AFL side remains undefeated after a stunning comeback against St Kilda today. The Saints led for most of the second half before a brain fade cost them dearly. A 50-metre penalty with 2 minutes left saw Kate Flood level the scores. Dockers star Gemma Houghton then missed running into an open goal, but the point was enough to get Freo over the line.
And the Dockers make the great escape. They remain perfect at 4-0, unbeaten at the halfway mark in 2020.
The Dockers now take on Brisbane at Freo Oval next Sunday. Collingwood star Adam Treloar is in doubt for round 1. He injured his hamstring against Richmond today as the Pies thrashed the reigning premiers by 40 points.
Midway through the 4th term, an injury blow that could rock the start of the Magpies season.
Oh, yeah, grab the hammy there. Yeah, absolutely need to watch that.
Treloar visibly shattered as he sat on the bench.
Wow.
In his first competitive hit out after brain surgery, Jack Higgins returned as if he had no time to waste.
Great to see him back, Higgins.
And in the Wangaratta heat, his effort was inescapable. His first term ended back on the bench thanks to the blood rule.
He knew he'd been caught. He turned and started jogging off.
But he returned in the second and continued to have an impact.
Great attack, Higgins.
Yeah, that was courageous.
The comeback story wasn't limited to Higgins. Mason Cox back after his season ended with a serious eye injury. The Tigers were missing 6 players thanks to State of Origin, and the Pies dominated early.
Dacos, see what he does here. Goes long, goes strong.
A point he was keen to prove in defence as well.
And Dacos, that'll do.
Jordan De Goey's third, helping propel the Pies to victory. Matt Thompson, 7 News.
The Wildcats will host Cairns in a do-or-die elimination final on Thursday night after the Taipans produced a season-saving win at home today. MVP Bryce Cotton was held to just 11 points.
If you only watched the first 3 seconds, you'd have thought the Wildcats would do it easy.
Scoring to Rico White.
Unfortunately for the Cats, the game went for another 39 minutes and 57 seconds.
Oliver from the top of the key.
Wow. Cairns had the look of a team facing elimination.
Great pass, and even better finish. The big fella nearly pulled down the backboard.
The defence was suffocating. Bryce Cotton was held scoreless in the opening half. This year's NBL Cinderella story did everything right.
Machado dancing against Martin. It's all the bottom of the net. What a way to finish the opening quarter.
The Cats made a run in the second half. Jesse Wagstaff was doing the dirty work, but the damage was already done. The Taipans had saved their season with an 11-point win.
Oh, the finish is the flush of Kev Oliver.
22 points, 19 rebounds, and the nail in the coffin.
Australia copped a 74-run hiding from South Africa in the one-day series opener. The Proteas reached 7 for 291 despite 3 wickets and a brilliant run-out from Pat Cummins. Steve Smith replied with 76 as the Aussies reached 3 for 174 before Mitch Marsh sparked a nightmare collapse of 6 for 43.
A few guys have been a little bit crook the last couple of days, but that's no excuse whatsoever.
And outfield catches don't get any better than this from Ravi Jadeja in Christchurch.
Unbelievable. Quite incredible. Quite possibly one of the greatest outfield catches in the history of the game. This will live long in your memory, folks, if you love the game.
Jadeja's amazing one-handed grab came on day 2 of the second test between India and New Zealand. Neil Wagner was his victim and he couldn't believe his luck. Liverpool's dream of an unbeaten Premier League campaign was dashed this morning. The runaway league leaders conceded 3 second-half goals in 18 minutes at Watford as the Hornets climbed out of the relegation zone with a famous win.
So I can't get a shot away. Oh my word, but Dini does! Watford aren't just beating the would-be champions, they are pulling away!
The loss ends the Reds' unbeaten run at 44 matches and 422 days. And just before I go, Dockers coach Justin Longmuir says Sean Darcy's calf injury is nothing to worry about. He should play on Saturday in the Derby.
Good news.
Thanks very much, Ryan. If you're hoarding frequent flyer points for a rainy day, you might need to check the fine print.
Many Qantas customers don't realise they could be stripped of their points if they don't use the accounts often enough.
Steve Bastoni says he has 33,000 reasons to not fly with Qantas.
Well, I recently went to redeem a flight on my frequent flyer points, only to realise that there was 0 points available to me.
His tally has been wiped for a second time after his account was inactive for 18 months.
This is unacceptable. I wasn't given any warning of expiration or anything like that, and they said, well, no, you would have been warned. And I said, well, I can assure you I haven't been.
In a statement, Qantas said points do not expire provided the member remains active. If a member does become inactive, they are notified in 3 different ways. Experts say many people aren't aware of the use it or lose it condition of rewards cards. According to Finder, Qantas frequent flyer points expire the quickest due to inactivity. Virgin and Etihad are wiped after 2 years, while Delta lets you keep your points forever. It's not just airline points that have expiry dates, so do supermarket rewards programs like Flybuys and the Woolworths rewards card.
The moral of the story is read the fine print.
Tegan Dolling, 7 News.
Sunny skies ahead for your working week.
I'll have your full weather forecast next.
7news.com.au. Happening now.
Right there for every heart-pounding emergency.
That's the biggest damn fire I've seen.
New 911, Monday on 7.
Get some real snackisfaction. Subway now has snacks. Choose from our delicious snacks range from $2. It's more than a snack, it's snackisfaction.
With WA Building Company, you get 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. That's a $30,000 Kickstarter towards your first home. With house and land packages from just $249 a week. WA Building Company, where magic happens.
At Volvo, we know that all families are different. From Mr. and Mrs. muddling through, to Mrs. and Mrs. going strong. And the happy accident that changes everything. But no matter how different families are, there's one thing they all share. One thing they all value, each other. The all-new Volvo V60 wagon. Protect what's important. Omtanke, we welcome you to try it. Volvo.
Not all paracetamols are the same. Panadol with Optizorb has an advanced formula to deliver paracetamol more efficiently and be absorbed faster. It's fast and effective on pain and gentle on stomachs. Panadol with Optizorb from your pharmacy or supermarket.
We're back! This year, take the ones you love to the happiest film ever.
Welcome to the family, little buddy.
Rock me, Daddy. That's nice.
We have to unite all the trolls. Let's go save the world!
On it. Well, we're doomed.
Trolls World Tour in cinemas March 26.
With the goodness of Australian wheat, there's something for everyone. Arnott Salada, as versatile as you are.
Nearly 95% of Aussie 5-year-olds are now fully vaccinated. But it's important to vaccinate on time, even if you miss one vaccine or if you're just a few weeks late. This puts your child and those around them at risk of serious diseases. If you miss a vaccine or forget, speak to your healthcare provider about catching up. Remember, it's important to vaccinate on time. Get the facts at immunisationfacts.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
No one has tried a dish like this before.
It is a showstopper of a dish.
This is sudden death elimination. What is the dish that will save one team and eliminate the other?
As a mentor, I'm very, very proud of you.
My Kitchen Rules, coming up next on 7.
There was a mix of sun and cloud today with a max of 28.9 in the city. Overnight it dipped to 20. Tonight there's a severe weather warning for damaging winds and heavy rain for the Kimberley and North Interior, while a high will be the main feature over southern WA tomorrow. Interstate cool and partly cloudy for Adelaide, showers clearing Melbourne, early rain for Hobart. In Sydney it'll reach 36, followed by a gusty cool change in the afternoon. Sunny for Brisbane, showers and storms for Darwin. Broome will see similar weather, hot and sunny for Exmouth, 35 for Geraldton, sunny and 30 for Bunbury tomorrow, and just 21 degrees on the south coast. There's a strong wind warning for our local waters tomorrow early in the morning, but they'll ease from midday and seas will fall from 2 metres. So looking at another warm day for metro centres, and winds will ease near the hills. In the city, mostly sunny and 29, warmer Tuesday up to 31, the same again Wednesday, partly cloudy and 30 for Thursday, 31 Friday and Saturday before heating up on Sunday.
That is 7 News for now. Thanks for joining us.
I'll be back with evening updates. Stay with us now for My Kitchen Rules, The Rivals.
Previously on MKR The Rivals.